now, 3 feet, 6 feet. It's the law.
Glimmer Gear. Increase your visibility. Be seen by motorists up to a quarter mile away. LED-equipped, state-of-the-art sports apparel designed to offer you comfort and safety while you exercise, train, and explore the outdoors. Visit Glimmer Gear today. Enter the promo code ISpeakForYou and get 25% off. That's glimmergear.com or give them a call at 619-299-GEAR.
Volunteer. Is there a weekend that is an off weekend from racing or training? Then volunteer. Find an event in your area. Email the director or point of contact. Volunteer and help out the community that gives you so much. All events need volunteers from setup to registration to course marshals, to finish line to water stations. You get the hint. Volunteer today.
Yeah, my taste in music and women drove my folks hag wild. Mom and Dad had a plan for me. It was debutantes and symphonies. But I like my music hot, like my women wild. Yeah, and I like my women just a little on the trashy side. When they wear their clothes too tight and their hair is dyed. Too much lipstick and too much rouge gets me excited, leaves me feeling confused. And I like my women just a little on the trashy side. Should have seen the looks on the faces of my dad and mom when I showed up at the door with a date for the senior prom. They said, well, pardon us, son, she ain't no kid. That's a cocktail waitress in a Dolly Parton wig. I said, I know it, Dad, ain't she cool? That's the kind I dig. Yeah, and I like my women just a little on the trashy side. When they wear their clothes too tight and their hair is dyed. Too much lipstick and too much rouge gets me excited, leaves me feeling confused.
Okay, time to talk. Oh, no, you speak for me. Go ahead.
You're supposed to, I speak for you. He speaks.
I did that song for Gary, Trashy Women. It wasn't songs about Texas. I remember you texted me one time saying, play a song about Texas. I'm like, well, Trashy Women. I'm just kidding. Sorry, ladies. I'm just playing with you. But no, we were talking about hydration. We were talking about training. We were talking about so many things. There's a lot of events coming up. Obviously, we're almost in July, which means there's 5Ks and 10Ks going to be going crazy here in San Antonio, especially probably in your area as well for those listeners around the country. Again, we have two of the greatest coaches here. If you have a question, you can chat with us live on Spreaker.com. The user is ISpeakForYou. Chat with us, and we will put your answer out there because we've talked about shoes, we've talked about apparel, we've talked about iPods, not to wear them during races, kind of thing. But you may have the perfect shoes. You've used those shoes like you're talking about certain shoes for fitty shoes, and you know that's a perfect shoe for you. Gary Brunswick, he's got great attire and everything. But if your shoes are perfect, your clothing is perfect. But if you're wearing the wrong type of socks, which I found out the other day, you can lose a toenail, you can lose skin, all kinds of stuff. So what makes a perfect sock? Because we talked about Thor when they first came out, the big ads that you have. But what makes a perfect sock, do you feel?
Well, nowadays, of course, they got all kinds of fancy material. I call it space-age material that wicks the water off the body, keeps the body dry, keeps down on blisters. So any of those types of materials are excellent. They don't have to be Thorlos. They don't have to be thick enough to run in without the shoe.
Right.
But something that's going to protect the shoe. And one of the things that people need to understand is the sock absorbs most of the odor from your foot. And all feet put out odor, whether you believe it or not. But you change the socks daily or at least once a week for most people. but you never change the shoe. I mean, you'll go 300 or 400 miles in a pair of shoes, and the people that don't use socks have the odor in the shoe.
Oh, yeah.
I won't mention any names, but I had an employee once upon a time that I would make her leave her shoes outside the store.
I remember her.
Never mind it.
Sherry?
No.
Sherry? Oh, no, Sherry wears socks.
No.
Leave the shoes outside the store, because if she wore her shoes in the shop, people would walk in and go, what's that smell?
Hey, did Michelle Cochran ever work for you?
Once in a while.
Okay.
Oh my goodness! But no, socks come into play of it because they give me a pair of socks. They're like, "Oh, you need to try these." I just got some great Asics. Sorry, Gary, the Brooks didn't really feel good for me. I can't run Nikes; they just tear my feet apart. But I got some nice new Asics, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you try these socks with them. They're space age or space material, which you're going to wick away everything, try it and everything." I got about 2 miles down the road, and I went, "I don't like these socks."
Right.
And they're runner socks, but I've been running in cycling socks. We're a little bit different.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I just can't wear them.
All socks are not made the same. Right?
No, that's true. That's
like
true.
shoes. If you don't do the research,
Right.
then you're not going to have the product
Right.
that's going to work very long.
And it's funny you mentioned cycling socks because they do have a different feel to them. They're a little thinner, and I started wearing a cycling type sock years ago when I used to have a sponsorship with Power Bar, and they had their socks were made by Socks Defeat, which is
right.
And I started really liking that style of sock, a real thinner sock, and a lot of running socks have more of a cycling sock type feel to them anyway. I just think, again, there are so many different brands that make really, really, really good socks. It's a matter of finding the sock that fits you best. If you like a snug fitting sock, if you like their socks that just feel soft, and is how you like the way that those feel, or you like what some people like. There's a sock that has it's 2 layers around the toes and the heel, so that it kind of reduces friction. It's just a matter of what you tend to like, and if you're going to go buy socks at a running store, you need to try those socks on with your running shoes and how they fit in your running shoes. Yeah,
because what works for you at running 5-6 minute miles isn't going to work for him or work for me when I do 15 to 16 minute miles. We can wear the exact same outfits from head to toe, and yours will be different from mine because everybody is different. Running styles, foot placement. Yep. I mean, I can run and start getting a little I can feel a little bit of pain in my foot or something. I hit my foot placement differently, the pain goes away.
Right.
I mean, that's just, like you said, years of experience. Like, okay, I know that if I adjust my foot strike, it'll go away. Right. Where a lot of folks that are running now go, "Oh, I'm injured," you know. So what do you guys recommend? I mean, obviously we're talking about socks and everything, and hydration and water and all that stuff. But if folks are looking to get off the couch right now, and last week I said, or 2 weeks ago, get off the coach. But no, if you want to get off the couch right now, what do you think they should? Where do you think they should begin? Like, if they're like, you know what, I've never run a mile in my life, but I want to do this rock and roll thing. I've got plenty of time. What should they do today?
Rock and roll, they got plenty of time.
Is there a
I would
shorter
suggest
rate?
to do the half.
Oh no, they got the mini marathon.
I was going to say
they've got the
do mini
5K.
marathon, yeah.
Well, the thing that I try to do for brand new people that's trying to get into exercise is I try to get them in the habit.
Right.
I want them to go out and do something 3 days a week. Take a day off after each day of exercise to recover, so that the next day they go out and do something, they are able to do it. They're not so fatigued and they're not so sore that they can't move. If you get in the habit of doing something 3 times a week, first thing you know, you're going to be doing it 4 days a week, because it's going to become so enjoyable.
Right.
And you're going to move from the 20 to 30 minutes that you start out with to the 45 minutes to an hour. And then once you get to an hour, 4 days a week, then you're getting fit. Then you bump one of those days to an hour and a half to 5 hours, or whatever the case might be. Not immediately. 10 to 15% a week increase is sufficient.
Yep.
So when you set up your program, you've got to set it up from the event itself backwards.
Right. Right.
So if you're going to do 4 20-milers, all of October is going to be 20-milers. And the other thing, too, is I don't believe in tapering. Lots of people put lots of stock in tapering because they get lazy at the end of the training cycle and they want to take off for a couple of weeks. My theory is if you go out training 20 miles every Sunday,
Right.
why would you get in magnificent shape and then stop?
And then do a 6 miler the week before.
Right.
We used to, in the old days, I'm old school. In the old days, we would build up to 20 miles, try to get in 4 of those before the event itself. The week of the event, Wednesday, we would go out and run 15 miles. That was our depletion run. That's when we start carbo loading and drinking more hydrates.
We're going to talk about carbo loading in just a second, but Gary, go on with your point because, like I said, we're going to talk about carbo loading in just a second. It's very important and how beer comes into play into that. But go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I completely agree with how you take someone who, we say from couch to 5K, from couch to 8K, from couch to half marathon. I think it needs to stop from couch to half marathon. That is I think it's the max that someone should do. I think anyone who is a coach, and I use that term, I like the term coach. There's a big difference in coach and trainer.
Yes.
I love it when my athletes call me coach because it's a term of leadership. It's a term of responsibility and accountability. That coach should be able to be strong enough to tell that.
I'm not going to cut you off, Gary, but coach is a whole different show because there are people out there that have run one marathon and they're like, "Oh, I'm a coach."
Right.
However,
what I'm saying is, if I get a brand new person that comes into my group and says, I want to start running, and I have 2 people in my group right now that had never run a step, and they're running, and one lady still is not ready to run a 5K. I think she's ready, but emotionally she's not ready to run a 5K, and that's okay.
Yes, that's true.
I have another lady who wants to run a marathon, and I still have not allowed her to run a marathon, and I said I have not allowed her to run a marathon. She's writing me a check to set up her training, and I know, and she's putting enough trust in me. I think there are too many people that force feed training programs to get someone to run a marathon. They're not ready to do the required long runs of 20 miles or 3.5 or 4 hours. It's exactly, and yet they're letting them run 2 days a week and then the long run, and there's just not enough. I just don't think there's enough fitness in the middle of the week. And then they have them do a 3-week taper a lot of times because they're injured. I do like a taper, John. I like about a 9 to 10 day taper. But like you, for me, it's 9 or 10 days out. We do a 15-mile run, and then we do a 13-mile run the week before the marathon. And we're still running. We don't really start running something easy till the Wednesday before. We'll do 8 miles, and then we start dropping some stuff.
But if you're running that at 70%, or you running that at race pace?
That's a good point. We're doing a lot of our stuff at marathon race effort, a lot of that stuff. So we're still tricking the body into thinking we're doing a lot of different volume, or a lot of different effort. We're doing shorter stuff, a little quicker, so the body still feels like it's getting some work, but it's not over volume. You're not beating down the legs, so you're coming down with into the race with sharp, snappy legs.
Yeah, because there's a time of recovery no matter what the event is.
Yes,
and it's the same with training. You've got to have enough rest. Without the rest, then you're not going to be ready tomorrow.
Right.
So rest is just as important as the training itself.
Yep. Sometimes more important.
Yeah.
Right. And I've got a couple points real quick. Like I said, let's talk about carbo load because a lot of the marathons in the old days, and there's some that still do this that I know because I've announced them, but they do the pasta dinner the night before.
No.
And which we've 3 agreed, and we've found out from, like I said, years of experience, is the most inopportune time to load up on pasta.
Well, the truth is, if your marathon is on Sunday, you should pasta load on Friday because Saturday night you're going to try to get as much rest as possible.
Amen.
Yeah,
you don't want to be out partying. If you say, John, let's go carbo load, it's not just eating a lot.
Oh no,
I'm going to drink with it.
That's where the shiner comes in.
Yep.
That's where the shiner comes in.
I absolutely agree. You should. I don't do the carb depletion load phase anymore. It's just really hard on some runners, and most of my runners aren't really. They don't have the velocity. They're not fast enough to really need that.
Right.
But we do. I do sometimes have a runner do. Increase a little bit of protein and fat the Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday start increasing carbohydrates. But I always tell them you should eat a normal size dinner the night before.
Yeah.
What you normally would eat at dinner.
Right.
It's the day. If it's a Sunday, Friday, that's when you're